What's up, my friend? Welcome to my YouTube channel. I will be talking to you today about the 7 books that you must read as an entrepreneur. All right, welcome back. Let's get into this right now. I have a stack here of books that I recommend for new entrepreneurs. And, the list kind of evolves as I find really great books that need to be consumed by entrepreneurs, that I feel need to be consumed by entrepreneurs. So we're going to look at some of these books. I have read all of these books cover to cover. Some of them I've read a couple times. And so let's jump in. The number one book I would say that every entrepreneur needs to read, probably every person in the world, is Think and Grow Rich. This book it's basically a classic. It was written back in the 1930s by Napoleon Hill. He said a lot of great stuff about how our mentality has a lot to do, has so much to do with how successful we become in life, and how much monetary gain that we make in life has a lot to do with how we think. So my first book right off the bat would be Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. My second favorite book here sort of goes along the same thinking, I guess you could say, and that is Millionaire Success Habits by Dean Graziosi. Dean Graziosi is a self-made millionaire, came from a family that was broken, came from extreme poverty. It's pretty much like the typical millionaire story nowadays. Most millionaires come from broken families, no background, no family money. He was one of them. And so he wrote this incredible book. It sort of has to do with your mentality and how you see things in the world, and different habits that millionaires have that cause them to be millionaires. I got this book for free, actually. My wife went to a Dean Graziosi seminar, and they were passing these out. And so she picked up one for me, and from the moment I started reading it, I couldn't put it down. Excellent book. The third book I would say would be Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This is another classic in the entrepreneur space. This was written, I don't even know. This was written back in 1997. So it's a little bit older of a book. It's 21 years old. Great book. It talks a lot about taking what you have and making it something. And Robert Kiyosaki, the author, he didn't grow up with money either. Like, his family was not poor, but he didn't have a background. His dad was I want to say a college instructor or a high school instructor, and he had a very limited mentality about money. And so Robert Kiyosaki grew up with one of his friends, and his friend's dad is what instilled into him the mentality for how to think about money and how to find opportunities to make money. So that's the Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The rich dad was actually his friend's dad that kind of took Robert under his wing and taught him. And the poor dad was his own dad, who, though he had some money, though he wasn't poor, his mentality was poor. So this right here would be number 3. Excellent book. My fourth book would be How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Classic book, written in 1936. Dale Carnegie was a master at influencing people and sort of having an effect on people. He was, from what they say, very warm, and he was the kind of guy you wanted to be around. So he wrote a book on that, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And while this isn't necessarily directed right at making money, if you can influence people, you'll make money. Partnering with that book is this book called Win the Crowd by Steve Cohen. Steve Cohen is a multi-millionaire magician, which is something you don't really hear often. Magicians are not known for making lots of money, but Steve Cohen is one who has made a lot of money in the realm of magic. This book, actually, in the preface, he says that he doesn't want a lot of people reading this book. He wants the few select people that happen to pick it up to buy it. I went to Barnes & Noble's when I bought this, and I was just kind of going through the self-improvement section, and I love self-improvement sections at bookstores. Some people call it self-help. I'm okay. I need help. And so I found this book, and it was Win the Crowd, and it looked really appealing to me for some reason. It's not even a great design for the cover, but it says unlock the secrets of influence, charisma, and showmanship. And so as an entrepreneur, if you're going to do any sort of face-to-face interaction or speaking to crowds, or even in social media, appealing to an audience who may perhaps buy your product or your service, you're going to need influence, charisma, and showmanship. So this book is excellent for that. If you're a bit introverted, this book is incredibly helpful because it has exercises for how to get you out and moving about in crowds and sort of to accept and love being around people. I used to hate people. Okay, let me, real quick break here. I used to abhor being in crowds of people so much so that it would just give me panic attacks and fill me with anxiety when I had to be in a large group of people. And after reading some of these books and getting out and working with folks, I've grown to love being around people, love being around crowds of people. For my last two books, these are number 6 and number 7. For my last two books, these are number 6 and number 7. They kind of go hand in hand. Many of you who are entrepreneurs have heard of Russell Brunson and his two books, Dotcom Secrets and Expert Secrets. And so these are the two that pull up the back end of our list of the top 7 books to read if you're an entrepreneur. Dotcom Secrets basically talks about how to build a business around the internet, how to use the internet, how to leverage the internet as a tool to build a business. Excellent if that is what you're doing. Anything from websites, how to appeal to people, how to market to people, all the way to affiliate marketing and selling through eBay and Craigslist and Amazon. This is a must read for any 21st century entrepreneur. And then Expert Secrets talks about how to become an expert in your field. You know, back in the old days, you had to go to school for 15 years and you had to study something and work at it for 20 or 30 years before you were considered an expert. Nowadays, we sort of have a highway that you can jump on, the information highway, and you can flood yourself and inundate yourself with information and knowledge to speed up that expert process. And so you can move from an area of novice to expert very quickly. This book talks about how to do that, how to portray the image so that people regard you as an expert in your chosen field. Excellent book, must read. So these are my 7 books. Once again, I'll pop them up in front of the camera. Think and Grow Rich, Millionaire Success Habits, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Win the Crowd, Dotcom Secrets, and Expert Secrets. If you want to get one of these books, I have them linked down below in the description. Definitely pick one up. I think Think and Grow Rich you can get on Amazon for like $8. Very, very inexpensive. The Russell Brunson books cost about $12 to $15 each. I buy my books used on Amazon normally when I buy, because as long as they're in good condition and they're used, you save a few bucks. You still get the whole book. It's okay if it's a little bit worn and dog-eared. Really quick though, if you have not subscribed, why don't you scroll down, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. We're doing giveaways in the year of 2018, everything from gift cards and cryptocurrency to camera equipment, watches, including a $5,000 Rolex watch when we hit 50,000 subs. So that's just a quick reminder there that we're doing the giveaways. All of that being said, that's the video for today. It was short, it was sweet. I hope you got some value from it. Scroll down to the description, click one of the links, buy a book, educate yourself. And until then, I'll see you tomorrow.